What if the greatest danger to the church was never about persecution? What if the real danger was power? Because the moment the church stopped following Jesus, I'm not talking Christian Zionists here because they're not, and they started partnering with the empire, that's what they've done, everything changed. The early church, they had no political power. They didn't have any armies. They didn't have any influence. They didn't have any control. And yet, they changed the world. It's recorded in here that they turned the world upside down. Why? Because they lived like Jesus. They loved their enemies. They forgave freely. They refused violence. They cared for the poor, not wanting to blow them up and conquer them. They didn't conquer Rome, they outlived it. Then, through history, something shifted. In the 4th century, Christianity moved from persecuted to protected, from outsider to insider, from the cross to the throne. And slowly the church began to trade. They traded humility for influence. They traded sacrifice for control. They traded love for power. And instead of looking like Jesus, the church started looking like empire. If you'll go read Revelation, it says they gave their power to the beast. When the church took the sword, remember, Jesus told Peter, put away your sword. But eventually, the church picked it back up. And history shows us what followed. Wars in the name of God. I mean, we got the Crusades. We call it the Dark Ages. We got violence justified by faith. Power used instead of love. The church didn't just live in empire, it became a part of it. That's why I hear this talk today. Well, Iran is the evil empire. We must destroy them. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he saw it coming. He warned the church in Nazi Germany. The church had become so tied to the state that it could no longer speak against it. When they started, it was too late. He called it cheap grace, a faith that follows Jesus in words. It sounds like Jesus talking, right? Follow Jesus in words, but not in life. And because of that compromise, the church lost its voice. The church didn't lose buildings. My God, they got thousands. It didn't lose influence. It lost something far more important. My friends, it lost witness. It lost its witness. Because when the church looks like power, when it looks like empire, when you're standing there anointing your emperor, it doesn't look like Jesus. But don't fret. There is hope. We can find our way again, and He has a name, back to the cross, back to enemy love, back to the way of Jesus. Because the church is strongest when it looks nothing like empire.